Hello, welcome to the Huntley Experience, Fishing Report, Episode 2. First, I'd like to start off with thanking everyone. We've seen some great support come out of these fishing reports. A lot more subscribers to our YouTube, and really appreciate that. We're glad to see that everybody seems to be enjoying them, and we will keep putting them out. So, we'll start off with Wednesday of this past week. I had a plan in my head about fishing Wednesday because Wednesday was a change in weather. We were supposed to get snow and stuff like that. So I headed out to Eagle Lake, just out by Strathmore. Like I said, Wednesday was supposed to be snowfall, and those weather changes when storm comes in is really good usually for fishing. So I missed the storm coming in by probably 24 hours. It turns out that it came a little earlier than I thought it was going to, and Tuesday night it came in. So I really should have hit the ice Tuesday night, maybe even Wednesday morning. It was somewhere in there. And I probably would have had a lot better luck, but conditions weren't with me. The storm was well set in. The colder weather was well set in, and the bite was not happening. Get into conditions. So first off, we were 9 to 10 inches of ice. Good ice for walking on, no worries there. The water conditions, maybe a foot of visibility. Eagle Lake is never really good for visibility. Sometimes early spring is pretty good, but once it algaes up, gets muddy, it's terrible. I didn't go very far on the lake. I just went out from the boat ramp. It was already about 4:30 p.m. when I got out there. A little ways, not to any of my usual spots. Drilled a couple of holes. I was in about 12 feet of water and marked a couple of fish, I thought anyway, but set up a tip-up and my jigging rod, and I sat there jigging and had a tip-up going, both with minnows to begin with, and nothing. So I won't spend too much time talking about eagle. The bite was non-existent. I didn't really expect much. I kind of wanted to get out, test out our new FXR ProFish gear and some batteries, and just enjoy an evening sitting on the ice. So I got the evening sitting on the ice, but definitely no bites. But Eagle Lake is hit and miss for me sometimes like that, and I'm sure next time will be different. So we'll talk about the next lake. So Saturday of last week, I went to Rolling Hills and spent the day on the lake with Dad's Fishing as well. Shout out to Ty for joining us for the day. It was awesome meeting you. Looking for a new spot and looking for walleye. It was kind of just a trial trip, see if we could find some good new holes for walleye. Rolling Hills has some really decent walleye in it, and it's also the first time that I went to Rolling Hills for ice fishing. So conditions, again, this is kind of another weather thing, but first off, we'll start with the ice. We had 8.5 inches of clear, good, solid ice. It has been the best ice that I've seen so far this year. 8.5 inches, but the ice was definitely solid. It was best ice. Water clarity, that was the best water clarity I've seen also this year. And we were probably 5 to 6 feet visibility. So water is definitely clearing up, which is good. A couple more weeks, probably be really, really good. So as I said, we were looking for new spots. First spot we tried, it looked fishy, but they just weren't there. We ended up fishing. We thought the water was supposed to be deeper than it was. It turns out that the deepest we found was about 11.5 feet, and the drop-off wasn't as quick as we were hoping. It was pretty gradual. We started fishing in about 8 feet and got one little pike, and then moved on, drilling more holes, but there was no action. We couldn't key into any other fish. So we packed up, moved to another place on the lake. Underwater conditions at the second spot that we moved to were a lot better. The drop off to deeper water was not so gradual. The weed condition was better, and there was some sandy parts. So right away, the first hole that we found was sand, proved to show fish. So I was looking for that sand most of the day. One of the cool things when we moved to our second spot for the day, we drilled the first hole and put down the AquaView. Actually, we drilled about 10 holes just so we could get a good look around. Dropped the AquaView down one of the first ones, and right away there was a pike. So I was like, oh, anybody got a rod ready to go? So Dad's Fishing came over, but interesting thing about when he was coming over, he started coming over quickly, and the pike started turning away and was moving away because he could hear the movement across the ice. And we had said, you know, slow down, hold on. And he slowed down, and then the pike turned its attention back on the camera and was very interested in the camera. Dad's Fishing, who is Colton, dropped his lipless crankbait down, and we managed to actually watch the pike take the hook with the AquaView camera in the same hole, and it was fish on. And Colton had his first fish of the day. When we moved to that other place on the lake, the wind had picked up and it started to get quite chilly. So set up our separate shacks and got to work, you know, trying to key in on fish. We had tip up set up and we're jigging in our shacks. My shack, I was there by myself that day, so I kept my tip up inside the shelter with me. The bite turned out really good. So again, weather, as that wind came in and the temperature started dropping, the fish turned on. They were very cautious biters. I had lots of pike come in. We caught quite a few pike, I don't know, 5 or 6 pike. A few of the pike would come in and leave and come in and check things out and then leave and not bite, so they were being really cautious. And then a walleye came in, and this walleye came around, I think, total of 4 times. So the first time it came in, I was jigging lipless crankbait just to rattle them in, get their attention. So sure enough, it worked. Walleye come swimming in, kind of kept its distance, swam around a bit, and then left. Wouldn't come any closer. So then I went to a plastics from Badlands Baits, a little 2.5-inch swim bait, and I put that on a bladed jig and was using the bladed jig for flash and jigging it up and down. And he come back in, took a look at it, got a little closer, still couldn't convince it to bite, swam off again, came back again for another plastic. This time it was the 5-inch swim baits from Badlands Baits. Come in, took a look at it, didn't have any interest. So then I switched over to a Perch Baby jig from Big Sky Flies and Jigs and put on a minnow for bait. And that walleye came back in again, and I was jigging for him, tried pulling it up from him, kind of look at it, but didn't want it. Was really, really cautious, sitting back about a foot away. I dropped it down and it started to show a little more interest. Dropped it right down onto the bottom and then just lightly twitched it while it was sitting on the bottom. And then it just started moving in, and it probably took a good 45 seconds before it actually committed, but it just kept creeping in, and it liked that, just laying on the bottom and just slight little twitches. And finally decided that it was the meal it wanted, and boom, we got the one walleye. And unfortunately, it was the only walleye, and we were actually hoping to target them like we were hoping to, but maybe next time. So Rolling Hills is fishing pretty good. Like I said, I think that was probably a total of 7 fish that day. I had some really awesome underwater footage, but for some reason my memory card is corrupt and I lost all my underwater footage. But I do have catch footage from inside the shelter, and I'll put that catch video out as well. Temperatures, I think we started out at like -2, and when that wind came up, I would swear it probably got down to -10. So again, the two key parts about these 2 trips this week was weather. So on Eagle, I missed the window, and I kind of knew I did. And then on Rolling Hills, I didn't even know that there was going to be a weather change like that. So when it came in, it was amazing. The bite turned on. Then after the wind died down and all that, it turned off. It was done. And we knew. We sat there for another hour after that, never even seen another fish. So weather does play a key part in fishing. I mean, fish will bite, but certain times they bite a lot more. So I hope you enjoyed this one. We will talk to you again on our next episode. Thank you.